Hi, everybody. Today we've got the best case scenario for Donald Trump in the upcoming presidential election. I already took a look at the best case scenario for Biden, but today we're going to take a look at Trump, and this is going to be post conviction. So I'm not putting out a normal Biden Trump prediction for this month. We've just got to give it a few weeks to see where things land. So I last took a look at this in March, and there's not going to be that many changes. I'm not going to get too crazy with it. I would not at all be surprised if Trump went down just a little bit in the polls, at least in the short term. But we've got debates coming up, plus Biden has remained unpopular, and we might even have to wait and see what happens after sentencing in July. But this assumes a reasonable red wave type of environment. Things pretty much line up for Trump. He gets out his base, he makes some inroads with the demographics he needs to, all while he's favored on most of the issues, and Biden really gets nothing going. Up until now, Trump has been leading in most of the key battleground states, so this map assumes a lot of that does pan out. But we're in uncharted territory, so there's going to be some different maps out there, but that's what it's all about. So let's get into my map. We'll start with the safe states for Joe Biden, and these are expected to be over a 10-point margin. So I don't think much changes with the safe states. Biden's going to get Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, and California. As we head east, he's going to get Illinois. Then in the northeast, he's going to get Maine's 1st congressional district. Then the usual blue states of Vermont, and then New York. Now, New York, some people have said this state could flip. I think there's almost zero chance of it flipping. However, other people say it's going to get competitive. For me, I'm not there yet at all. I have seen some of the polls that show it around 10 points, but even if it got down to 10 points, that would be a dramatic shift toward Trump. I think Trump would improve, but in the end, I think a lot of Biden voters would end up coming back, and the state is still going to be safe for Biden. Then we've got Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Washington, D.C. All safe for Biden. Yeah, some of these states could get more narrow. Maybe New Jersey gets down to 11 or 12 points. Still not enough for me to move them from safe. Now we've got the safe states for Trump, and there's going to be a lot of them. We start by giving him Alaska. Then it's going to be all the usual states from Idaho and Utah in the west, all the way through the Dakotas, Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana in the south, around through South Carolina and West Virginia. Now, two other states that are going to be in safe territory this time are going to be Iowa and Ohio. Those were almost safe last time. In this, Trump is going to get a bounce. That's going to put him over 10. Now we could go down to the likely states for Biden. These are expected to be between a 5 and a 10-point margin. First, we'll start in Colorado. Now, this, I think, is debatable. I think it could still be safe for Biden, even in a best-case scenario for Trump. But I do think it would be more reasonable that Biden's popularity is just not there. His enthusiasm falls flat. He's still going to win the state comfortably, but that's going to cause the margin to get down to high single digits. South of there, we've got New Mexico. That would be around mid-single digits. One other likely state is going to be Virginia. I think any kind of improvement here for Trump would get this down to likely. Taking it down further than that to leans, I think that's a little bit too unreasonable for me at this point. I do think the D.C. suburbs are going to be heavily invested in Biden post a Trump conviction. Now the likely states for Trump. I've got 3 of them, and I'm going to start in Texas. This is borderline likely safe, so if you have it at safe, 10 or 11 points, I can understand that. But for this prediction, I'm going to be just a little bit more cautious. It's going to be about 9.5 points for Trump. That would be an improvement over 2020, and I'm going to put it at likely. He's also going to get his home state of Florida by a likely margin. Here's another one that could hit 10 points, but right now I have it at high single digits, and that is still a significant improvement over 2020. And the last likely state for Trump is going to be North Carolina. He won the state in 20. It was close. Most of the polling shows him in the lead kind of comfortably. In this, it's going to just get to about 5 to 6 points and go likely. Now, the remaining states are all going to be the competitive battlegrounds. Let's start in the West. Nevada and Arizona, those are both going to be leans for Trump. Surprisingly, a lot of the polling in Nevada has shown Trump with a comfortable lead. I tend to think that would narrow up as we get closer to the election. In this, it's going to be about a 4 to 5 point win for Trump. Arizona is going to be the same story, unlike Nevada, which did not vote for Trump back in 2016. And these two states might be trending in the opposite direction. But in this, immigration is going to be a big deal. Trump would seemingly outrun Kari Lake here for the Senate, and he's going to win this also by about 4 to 5 points. Then we can make a quick stop off in Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. This is the Don Bacon more moderate district that's trended toward the left. It's gotten a little bit redder since redistricting, but even in this best case scenario, I still think it would go for Biden by about 1 point or less, so he's going to get it by a tilt. Now we can head up to the land of 10,000 lakes. We've got Minnesota. This one went narrowly for Hillary back in 2016, went sharply toward Biden in 20. So of course the third parties are going to be a factor, but I think theoretically this state would actually get competitive if it were a best case scenario for Trump. I don't think it would quite flip. I think it would get down to about 1 to 2 points, so it is still going to go leans for Biden. Next door, we've got the Rust Belt states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Trump won them all in 2016, Biden won them all in 2020. They should all be very competitive. You could split hairs cares about the specific margins, but in this, Trump's going to get a bounce and he's going to win them all by a lean. Now we've got to jump up to the Northeast. Maine at large, this is another state that some people have said is trending hard toward the right. I'm open to a range of possibilities, but Biden won this last time by about 9 points. So in this red wave, again, Trump is going to get a bounce. I don't think it's going to flip, but I do think it could get under 5 and go leans for Biden. Next door in New Hampshire, here's another one that's going to be up for debate. Again, it was narrow in 16, not really that narrow back in 20. And this, Trump is going to get the boost and he's going to get it down to a leans for Biden. And the last state is Georgia. Here's another one that has slipped out of Republican hands in some key races over the past few cycles. The polling all the way through May has been steady here for Trump. So I know some people are going to say this would go likely for Trump in a best case scenario. That is a possibility, but I'm not going to completely forget about the Atlanta suburbs. Even though Biden is unpopular, the Trump brand is not really what they're looking for. So Trump is going to win the state. You could say it gets over 5. I think that's fair. In this, I'm going to say Trump does about 5 points better than he did in 2020. And that's going to put this right under 5 points, so I've got to leave it as a leans. So that's it. The final total comes out to 312 for Donald Trump, 226 for Joe Biden. So Trump wins it. He wins it comfortably, kind of like in the best case scenario for Biden. He also wins it comfortably. The one thing I always say in most of my predictions is most of these ratings are very borderline and close to a different rating. So you might say Texas goes safe, Virginia goes leans, Georgia goes likely. We might only be off by about a point in the margins, but the rating is going to be different. So again, we've got to see what the fallout is from Trump and the conviction. Plus, we've got sentencing, but we also still have to see who Trump picks as his running mate. There's still some big unknowns here coming up. Plus, we've got debates, and Biden's popularity is pretty weak. Trump has been known to ignite a lot of voters to come out for him and against him. It's really tough to predict a red wave type of scenario. I think it's easy to say Trump wins, but the margins are where the challenge is. So the Trump conviction could go either way. It could scare off a lot of voters that might have been on the fence, or it could ignite his base, and independents are going to think that he's more of a victim and they want to come over to his side. There's a lot of possibilities. You could make a few more changes. Of course, I'll update the map as we go, but for right now, this is how I see it going as the best case scenario for Trump. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this map? Do you mostly agree with the states, or are you on the other side of some of these borderline ratings? Is it too friendly to Biden? Is it too friendly to Trump? Let me know what you think down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join if you'd like to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.